Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, by Yashem Yahweh Shah, by Yashem Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well, and peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity, also in truth. You know, when you first see this particular picture, you impulsively you want to laugh because you think about, I guess I'm speaking about myself. Growing up, I would watch a Martin show, and so seeing characters like Shanae, was very comical to me. But it was very wicked now that my eyes are spiritually open, because it's pushing a very wicked vibration. And according to the scriptures, a man isn't supposed to wear women's clothing. This was back in the 90s, and you fast forward now, at what time now to, contemporary times, comedy is used to push homosexuality. Now, this particular kind of comedy that we're seeing, on our screen now is, you could say it's satirical, is making fun of current, events. Now this is, I say this is not the best example of satire. But you could say it's satire because it's making fun of the attributes, or the characteristics, if you will, of the so-called black woman, right? But the fact of the matter is this: these elite, they use comedy or satire to push the wicked agenda. In which it really goes back, this type of comedy, if you will, goes back to the Greeks, and with their spirits called satire. Okay, so we're going to examine these two words and go into depth, of what they mean, so we could get an understanding of how comedy is used to summon demons. Now, before we begin to examine those two words, I want to bring this scripture out quickly. Now, this is Ephesians 5:4. Actually, I started 3. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints, neither filthiness nor foolish talking or jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving thanks. So there's certain, we have to be very careful with, the energy that we, our energy, our spirit, and it's very important, to be mindful of what we're laughing at, and also what we're watching, because, a lot of these comedy skits, man, they're very perverse. Case in point, you look at the movie Deadpool, it's just riddled with, homosexual gestures, and those gestures could be in your subconscious, man. Not saying that that's gonna make you wild out and and turn to homosexual. That's not what I'm saying, but that'll give you a sense of allowing, or a sense of accommodating, these homosexuals. It'll help you. Those type of comedies will induce you to get settled off your leads. So it's very important that we're not watching, these perverse movies. Something like I want to say is Moonshine or something to that degree, where you had young man came out to be homosexual, young black man came out to be homosexual. I didn't watch the movie, but movies that sympathize with these perverse sexual or orientations, you want to be mindful about watching those things, because they can induce you to be as a person in the world, and to accommodate these various lewd sex acts. So it's very important that we, even ingesting, that we're being mindful of, what we consider funny, because some things, are just blatantly wicked, man. Even when you're sending something to a brother, be mindful of what you're sending to a brother, because you might think it's comical, but in fact, it's perverse. You see, so, that's something that I wanted to pull out. But let's go to that word, satire. Now, this is that word, satire, in etymology online. Now, it's satire. It says a work intended to ridicule vice or folly. Now, an example of satirical work would be something like SNL, Saturday Night Live. They make fun of current events and political issues. You see, that would be an example of satire, right? Let's see here. From Middle French satire and directly from Latin satiria. Satire, satire, poetic, medley, earlier satura in Lance satura, mixed dish filled with various kinds of fruit. Literally full dish from feminine of satura, set it to satisfy. First used in the literary sense in Latin in reference to a collection of poems in various meters on a variety of subjects by the late Republican Roman poet Ennius. The matter of the little that survives of his verses did not seem to be particularly satiric, but in classical Latin, the word came to mean especially a poem which excelled the prevailing vices one after another, altered in Latin by influence of Greek satire on mistake notions that the literary form is related to the Greek satire drama. And when you look up what a satire is, which a satire is a spirit of mischief in Greek mythology, which we're going to get, and also they had satire plays. It's in fact very similar, and you can see the roots of satire to satire, if that makes sense. Because they do basically, but it has the same premises. It's making fun of current events and things of that nature. But satire, it makes fun of current events, and also sexuality. It'll make fun of man's weakness to sexuality. And when you look at these various comedy shows, they do the same thing, and also they push a very wicked vibration of sexual lewdness, whether it be somebody who's oversexed, what I'm saying, or if it's just pushing again the agenda of homosexuality, right? Now, this is a satire according to Wikipedia. In Greek mythology, a satyr, also known as a Silenos, is a male nature spirit with ears and a tail resembling those of a horse, as well as a permanent exaggerated erection. See, how it's already starting off. Early artistic representations sometimes included horse-like legs, but by the 6th century BC, they were more often represented with human legs. Comically hideous, they have a man-like hair, bestial face, and snub noses, and are always shown naked. Satires were characterized by their ribaldry. Let's look up that word ribaldry because it's going to help expound. Ribaldry or blue comedy is humorous entertainment that ranges from bordering on indelicacy to gross indecency. It is also referred to as baldiness or gaminess or broady. If you look up that word indelicacy, it's just going into really just lewdness, if you will. Just for edification, you guys look up these words. For the sake of time, I don't have time to look them all up. But it basically goes into sexual perverseness, if you will, and making fun of sexual perverseness. And again, you see that same, that same characteristic in satirical work now. Sex is present in ribald material more for the purpose of poking fun at the fallibles and weaknesses that manifest themselves in human sexuality, rather than the present sexual stimulation, either excitingly or artistically. And that was really all I needed on that. So let's go back to what we were reading. Satires were characterized by their ribaldry and were known as lovers of wine, music, dancing, and women. They were companions of the god Dionysus and were believed to inhabit remote locales such as woodlands, mountains, and pastures. They often attempted to seduce or rape nymphs and mortal women alike, usually with little success. They are sometimes shown masturbating or engaging in bestiality, and this is something that these Greeks would worship, man. The Greeks and Romans, because in Roman times they were known as fauns, excuse me. In classical Athens, satires made up the course in a genre of play known as a satire play. Now let's look at that word as satire play, if you will. A satire play. Satire play was a ancient Greek form of tragic comedy, similar in spirit to the broady satire of Brisquet. And that word Brisquet, let's look it up for edification. Burlesque. A burlesque is a literary, dramatic, or material work intended to cause laughter by caricaturing. That means exaggerating a characteristic of something. The matter or spirit of serious work. Sounds a lot like satire, correct? You see? Or by ludicrous treatment of their subjects. The word derives from the Latin burlesco, which in turn is derived from the Latin burla, a joke, a ridicule, or mockery. Burlesque overlaps in meaning with caricature, parody, and travesty, and in its theatrical sense with extravaganza as present in the Victorian era. And that's really all I needed on that. But as you can see, it made light of serious matters, which is another, you could use that definition for a satire. You see, and you see these, this characteristic that terrorists is a burlesque. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly, but excuse me for going off. In what? In satires, man. You see? Like case in point, I want to look this word up. A satire, what you would see, something like share or something like that. I was hoping it had a image of it, but I mean, this is a beautiful point right here. Look at this. Homosexuals. You see, that's what you would see. They're making fun of social matters like the the human rights quote of gay people. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a small example. But let's read that again. Satire plays were an ancient Greek form of tragic comedy, similar in spirit to the broady satire of burlesque. They featured choruses of satires were based on Greek mythology and were rife with mock drunkenness, brazen sexuality, including phallus props, pranks, slight gags, and general merriment. And that's what you see, in these various shows, and also these various movies. Case in point, I'll give you guys an example. This particular episode on SNL, again, that's Saturday Night Live with The Rock. He came up with it was a skit about the world's most evil invention, and he made a robot that rapes children, a child molesting robot. You see what I'm saying? So they're making light of, children getting raped. And they have many skits like this, which is satirical. But again, it push, the vibration of that pedophilia is okay. Now you're seeing a brother just sent an article today about this 11-year-old boy performing at a gay bar and getting dollars thrown at him. I think he was dressed up, as a Gwen Stefani, also performing one of her songs. You see, so they use the elite. They use comedy as a means to, desensitize people to wickedness, man. And they use skits and things of that nature and parodies in order to, make people laugh, and really become desensitized to it, man. Even me growing up as a kid, I would laugh at things I thought was funny, that was hilarious, I thought it was, clever, because I enjoy sometimes writing comedy, things of that nature, when I was in college or whatever, not important, but you would hear about skits like this, or even when you go to comedy shows, you would, see people that were, making fun of, social issues, in particular, sexuality, you know what I'm saying? But really it's pushing a very wicked vibration, a very, perverse vibration, man. You see? Now back to, Wikipedia. Satire plays are an independent genre, but they share many attributes with comedy. Satiric drama, though, is one of the three varieties of Athenian drama. The other two being tragedy and comedy. Comedy and satire drama are both found from Komos. It can be traced back to Patinus and Philius 500 BC. After settling in at Athens, he probably adapted the realm customary in his native home, with its course of satires to complement the forms of tragedy which had been recently invented in Athens. So it really just going to where it came from. This form of comedy came from. I don't want to bore you with all that. But I would like to jump down, and if I can get there's one in particular how these satyrs were also companions of Pan. Now we know Pan to be what Mendez, and Mendez is actually spoken about in the scriptures, because really if you look at Pan, Pan has a, well, you know what, let me Google it for you all, so I don't want to be up here rambling. I'll just get it. Religion, Greek god, boom. It looks the same, like a Pan looks the same as, a satire. Pan looks the same, not a Pan, but Pan looks the same as a satire. And really, Pan derives from Mendez, as I once said. So Pan is the god of the wild shepherds and flocks, nature of mountain wood, wilds, rustic music, and impromptus, and companion of the nymphs. He has the hind quarter legs and horns of a goat, in the same manner of a flan or satyr, with his homeland in rustic Arcadia. He is also recognized as the goat of the fields, groves, wood gleans, and often affiliated with sex. Because of this, Pan is connected to fertility and the season of the spring. You see, so again, that goes Pan and satire. They're very similar. You see, because they're all about, that perverseness of sex. That's why even when you see some pictures of Pan, which I don't want to put it up for you brothers, but just what, I'm past some, look it up on your own, something that you could do, look it up on your own. You actually see Pan having sex with a goat. You see what I'm saying? So because it comes under that same banner of sexual perverseness. And really, when you look at, say for instance, Baphomet, and it has the it's an amalgamation of a woman and a man, a goat head, and all that. That really just shows that, it's a part of rebellion, that man has free will. They can do whatever they want to, you see, and that's why they perform these various these sex acts, really as a form of rebellion, because they're showing that they could do whatever they want to. Free will. You see what I'm saying? And again, they use comedy as a means to perpetuate that idea, right? Now, this is Leviticus 17:7. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a hoeing. This shall be a statute forever unto them they're out throughout Salakia, their generations. Now let's look up that word devils. That word devil is sa'ar, hairy, he-goat, buck, as sacrificial animal. A satyr may refer to a demon possessed goat, like the swine of Gadara. You see, that goat, what was that goat came from? That goat came from Egypt, which is Mendez. And again, our people were performing lewd acts. You know what I'm saying? When you look up Mendez, the prophetess, if you will, the female priests, they were known for having sex with he-goats. You see what I'm saying? And again, that was a form of rebellion. So the so-called white man, he has always used sex as a form of rebelling against the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Which is really summoning demons, man. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High is going to destroy Edom, because of their perverseness. Now, this is Isaiah 19:14. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. That's right. So the Most High has, mingled a very perverse spirit in Egypt. Now, we know this is talking about Egypt of the past, but spiritually speaking, it's talking about now. You see, because spiritually speaking, this place is Egypt, because it's known for its very, very harsh captivity that it has put on the children of Israel, man. You see? Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shaketh over it. That's right. So the Most High is gonna when you shake your hand at somebody, you're rebuking them. Like back in the day, when I know for me, my dad, he point at me when he getting on to me because he was sharply rebuking me. Well, the Most High is gonna do that to these Edomites and also 2/3 of our people, man. 2/3 of our people have become glued right along with the so-called white man. You see somebody like Martin Lawrence. If you don't have your spiritual lenses on, you're like, man, he did it, man. He made it. But really he's living in darkness. You see, he's living in darkness. His spirit is totally gone. Even when you look at interviews of him now, he just seems dark and spaced out. Why is that? Because he gave his soul over to these Edomites, man. You see, so he's going to be destroyed right along with this place. All that money is not going to save him. Now, this is Ezekiel 9:9. Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, Yahweh, by Yeshua Yahushua, hath forsaken the earth, and Yahweh, by Yeshua Yahushua, seeth not. And that's the mindset of a lot of our people. You see, the Most High ain't gonna do anything like that at all. There is a God, but it's free will. I gotta get it. So, and then you have some people that say that the Most High is not real or he's dead. The black, and I ain't gonna say so-called, but the black conscious community, they push that heavily, man. And you see what's coming out of there, all types of manner of wickedness. You see? And as for me also, my eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. That's right. So the Most High is going to recompense our people, for engaging in wickedness and taking on these wicked spirits, man. And a huge wicked spirit that we see our people taking on a hold on to is, again, homosexuality, transgenderism. You see, or this being oversexed, being oversexed. Talking about sex today, not much. As I'm speaking, somebody like Tiffany Haddish, it's being a dang on nasty coon, man. And for that, 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed. So, hey, brothers, just be careful of what you give your vibration to. Call Allah Yahweh by Shem Yahushua.